and you'll have to go downstairs.
We are live. Happy Monday, everybody. It is Monday Jumpstart. We are here on Happy Paper People. I am Marianne. If you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome. We're happy to have you here. If you are not new and you've been here before, welcome back, and thank you so much for coming back and supporting the channel. It is because of you. Whoops. Welcome back. Somebody forgot to turn the volume off. Mute. There was watching show earlier this morning. Yes, it is because of you returning to the channel that we are able to return and be here. And we love Mondays because it means Monday Jumpstart and spending the day with our friends, at least a part of the day. Hi, Jen. Jen's at work, but she's listening in for a bit when she can. Hi, Margie.
Jen.
Margie's here. Hello, hello. Glad to see you. Happy to see you. We know that people will come in as they are able, and so we're going to jump right into our topic today. We do a lot of things on Monday Jumpstart. We do something different every week, and we cover all parts of the gamut on Monday Jumpstart, because Monday is a time for us to experiment, to play, to get curious about different products and different techniques and things that maybe we haven't tried, and to share things that we have tried that are old and true for some of us and maybe not for others of us. So today I have invited Dawn-Marie. Say hello to Dawn-Marie.
Hi, everyone.
And Sylvia.
Good morning.
Sylvia, I've invited them to be with us today because our topic is the art of doodling, and they are both what I call master doodlers.
Oh, boy.
Yes, they doodle on everything and anything, and they have fun doing it. And I've learned some things from them. I've been doodling since elementary school, when we made paper bag covers for our books and doodled on them. But I've still learned some things from my friends here. And so I wanted to bring them on to share some ideas with you. Before we jump right into that, let me say thank you, Margie, for jumping right in with a super chat of $50. We so
yay, Margie.
Supporting the channel. Doodly do. Hi, Trudy. We are going to give away something today. We'll have a drawing.
Yay!
Everybody who contributes through our super chat in support of the channel to help us get upgraded equipment and have prizes and things like that. But I'm not going to show you yet what we're going to give away. We will, yeah, because it's going to be part of what we're talking about. And as we come to it, then I will show it. So anybody, and you can contribute as much as 99 cents and get in that drawing. So every dollar counts. So we appreciate everyone's support. And thank you so much, Margie, for starting us off that way. Boy, we appreciate you. We really do appreciate you. Let's see. Said hello to
we all stamp?
Do we all stamp?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you mean stamp? Like with ink stamps? I think pretty much anybody who does cards or scrapbooks or junk journals or journaling in general probably stamps. We all have a variety of stamps, even though they might be different kinds of stamps. So, but let's start talking about some doodling. There's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of different directions. There's a lot of ways to doodle. Let's just jump right in and let's see. How should we start this? How about when do you doodle? DM, when do you doodle? Like on what? You're sitting here and like
when do I doodle?
Yeah.
I doodle whenever there's a pen and something to draw on in front of me.
There you go. All the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. You
I
doodle
really
all the time.
do. I could be sitting watching a movie and I have just a pad of paper in front of me, and I may not even look away from the movie, and I'm just moving my hand with the doodle.
Doodling. Hi, Sherry. Welcome. Yes, doodling is different from drawing. Not the same. Doodling is different from drawing. There are lots of ways to doodle. In fact, there is no wrong way to doodle. Everybody thinks that they have to doodle artistically, in fact, like drawing something, and that's just not the case. That's not what doodling is. So we're going to give you today, let me just tell you overall what we're going to give you, and we'll just jump into it. We don't need to have a good format here. We'll just get it all. We're going to give you lots of ideas and show you different places and ways and things that you can doodle on, different ways to doodle. Yeah, that's like where and how, pretty much. It's where and how. And there are so many different things encompassed in the where and how. Let's just stick with where and how for now. So DM, why don't you start us off? And
Sure.
What's one of your favorite things to doodle on?
I like
Pam,
to
welcome,
doodle
Pam.
or even draw, because I am going to say that if you doodle, you can use those shapes when you doodle and turn them into drawing, because that's actually what it is. It's just basic line and circles, making basic lines, basic triangles, basic circles, twirlies, swirlies, and stuff. Doodling is just making an idea in your head down onto the paper, just like every other craft is with paper crafts. I like to take, I have a large coloring book. I have a large grouping of coloring books at my disposal. And what I like to do is I like to take the ones like this that are very large, very open spaced. And I usually do a base color, and then I start to doodle on them. And you can either doodle with a light color to just make a difference in shading, or you can doodle with, these are some of the ones that I would doodle on, like I've pulled them out of my coloring books. This one's going to be awesome. This one you can actually probably draw and then doodle between, because it's a really flowing basic pattern, and it's just around. You would put a bunch of circles down and just go around them. I have actually a stencil that would make this pattern. That's another thing. You could use a stencil, draw around it, and then you have a place to doodle.
Those are great pages out of coloring books to doodle on.
Yes. And
how do you choose? You're looking at a coloring book and you say, I want to color a picture that I can then doodle on after the fact. How do you decide if it's a good page to doodle on?
Big enough spaces.
Okay.
So this one has very large spaces. This one has small and large spaces, but
so you don't have to doodle in every single space.
In the small ones. Yeah.
Right.
This one, these are actually made for adding more to or doodling for. So let's see. I have one here actually that I did add to. This is another one where I just took colors and doodled in there to see the differences. I have the one that
Zentangle is a style of doodling. So you can Zentangle, you can doodle without Zentangling. You can Zentangle as your doodle. Yep. Keep going. Sorry.
Right. Zentangle is what they decided to call a grouping of doodles that they've been able to break down,
organized doodle
into how to draw. Yep. Formalized
doodle is a Zentangle.
Yes. Because a lot of the ones that they did, I was doing way before they decided to call it Zentangling.
Right.
So this right here was one very much like this. And you can see that I've added just little scoops, little C's, or the letter I with the I right at the top. I've added leaves that are just basically small portion of a circle. So all of this, it started very much like this.
Okay.
And that's just with black.
So anything that has a big open space.
Anything that has a big
you
open
just
space.
Doodle in that, or you can color it and then doodle.
Right. Just like this one has big open space. And all I've done is add like some dots here. And this one, I haven't even gone as far as I could with it. I just added dots to it. This is one that I do a lot of pre-coloring, like sometimes in the mood to color. So I'll pull the big ones out. And then when I'm in the mood for doodling, I'll go on top of it. So anytime, this was a big open space one that I've been doing doodles in for, this is probably 3 months old. I just pick it up and do a doodle in it from here.
There's so
every
much
once in a while.
you can do.
Right. So if I see it sitting on the table, I keep this one on my kitchen table with a black marker next to it or black pen next to it. And if I finish eating before Mark does, because he eats a heck of a lot more than I do, I'll grab this and doodle a couple things while we're sitting there talking. Really easy. Now, doodling also means just making dots and dashes. And dots and dashes are what can make shades.
There you go.
So you can see that I've done a little bit darker purple to shade that light purple that I did in there. And so that's a way to get depth in your work,
right?
By shading, where something would go over another thing. And like I said, that is just literally lines and dots.
Right.
Lines and dots. That's all you need. Very basic triangles, dots, coloring in a grid the way you want to. This is one that I've colored ahead of time that I want to do some doodling in. This right here, a very basic pattern. I put all the little lines in. It was just the big open, let's call them fans. So I added the thinner lines and then I colored it. And then I've been putting just lines and dots in between them to make it just a little bit fancier. This is one that I wasn't thinking when I was doing this. This really is a lot of shading, but once again, lines and dots that I actually think I'm probably going to frame or put up somewhere.
It's pretty
cool. So this grid that looks like basket weave up here is just lines turned, the opposite direction every time. And all that is doodles. You can see I didn't necessarily even close in the areas. Your eye likes to see empty spaces. So when you're doing a line, if it jumps, that's okay. Like those. You see how they jump? That's a way to make your eye like what you're doing. And even within the yellow, I've done, a white lines to change it. Here, just lines to show the depth of the, thing that's sitting there to add color. So that I actually like doing the doodling to show depth, especially when, to change a color with small dots and dashes.
Pointillism, dots.
Very much like pointillism. I like to take magazines. I just did this while I was waiting. I found this magazine page that had these gorgeous long curtains. And I did some what are called dangles on it. And all they are curls and dots and circles and V's.
You could do like a chain or ivy. Look at your arrow, like you've got like a fish hook and something hanging from it.
So, and the other thing is the space between these. Your eye is going to close that and make that into a chain. Even though you have not closed it together.
Right.
Your eye does a lot of extra work when it's looking at things.
Makes it become what it needs it to be.
It makes it become what it wants it to be. This is an amazing one to doodle on. I have not done it yet, but
that'll be cool.
Right. You could either still go with all the circular motion that's in each one of them, or you can, do each one individually. Another thing I like to do, even though I have ones like this, is I like to make my own mandala, which is as easy as going and grabbing a plate and making a really simple mandala and filling it in with your doodles and your colors or however you want to do it. So.
Okay. So you're getting the idea that you can doodle on anything, anywhere, anyhow. Sylvia, what are some of the things that you doodle on? Because I know you doodle on some the same, but I also know you do some different.
So I'm going to start from when do I doodle? I doodle whenever I don't have a plan. Usually when you want to work on something, whether it's a scrapbook page or a folio or ephemera for a folio or a journal, you usually have a plan as to what you're going to do. When I want to doodle to relax my mind or to just to get a little exercise in my brain and through my hand, that's when I take the time to set time apart for doodling. Someone asked, do we stamp? I just took this stamp, stamped it with vintage photo. Now this I'm going to use as a base to doodle from with a marker, and I can add colors. I also doodle on trash. This came in the mail, and I like the summer feel to it. I may use it in a page. I might use it as a tag. I might cut it up for something else. I could use it as a summer page or a border. There's possibilities here, but it was plain before I enhanced it. Again, I took a stamp, a spiral, cut it out, put some glitter pen mark around it. Now I can also lift it up, add to it, add some dimension. I have doodle books. This is one of my favorites. It's big. You can get in there and use the various things to doodle. Follow the different patterns, because again, it's always with how do I start? Where do I begin?
Right.
I have also, when I am writing and I'm doodling at the same time because I get stuck with thoughts, I take my time and do my usual shape, which is a heart. My favorite shape is a heart. Some people like circles. I love circles too. You mentioned dangles. That's just one, just with pen. There's other books for tangling. I also use color books, but what I do is I take them out, I print them so I can change the colors, so I can bring them down, enlarge them, maybe fussy cut them. Look at that. That's a peacock. I can't wait to do that.
If it's something you really like, you can do it multiple times if you scan it in or just copy it.
In my family, we have lots of letters that are similar. We have a lot of S's, we have a lot of A's, we have a lot of J's. So I'm always doing A's in different ways, either calligraphy, illustrated letters, but I also like to doodle. I also have a dedicated doodle book. My favorite doodle is to start with a semicircle, an oval or something, and then I just draw straight lines to another circle. Then I just draw lines all around it. I don't know if you can see the pattern. That's one that is mindless to me. I can just go on and on and on and do that forever. And this is my doodle book. This is one that I can play in and sketch, and you can doodle around that. So
doodle, you could sketch.
I use any substrate you can think of. Receipt, bingo card. It's yours. It's when you don't have a plan. You want to pick up something you want to play.
Sure. And junk mail or
gosh, yes.
Mail, I love that idea, because if you're
if you mess it up, you can throw it away. It's not a big deal.
You just did it for fun.
Yep.
But if you don't like it, want to keep it, you could use it.
Yep.
Okay. So go ahead.
I just wanted to cut in here. She said, where does she doodle now? And she said she has a set time. When I doodle, when I make a junk journal or a journal, it's always the very last thing that I do to highlight things. I go through and I add highlights in my journal with pen and ink, gel pens, and that would be considered doodling. And that could take me, I mean, I've done some that have taken me just the doodle part days, because I go through every single page and highlight with my pen what I want to highlight. So that's another time that I don't do any of my doodling unless I'm making separate parts. I will doodle on those separately as I'm making them. But the actual page is my last thing I do, is I doodle.
Okay.
When I'm making a larger piece.
Okay. So tell them about what you're doing right there.
So I have absolutely loved geometry and geometric shapes probably my whole entire life. I do like math, but I like the geometry portion of math. Don't give me the other kind.
I didn't like algebra. I like geometry.
Yeah. So this right here is actually for thickers, which are those big letter stickers. And this will show you where it needs to go.
You're doing it like on a scrapbook layout, rounded.
Right. I like this one because it gives you a circle and it gives you an oval inside. But all of the lines line up so that you can use the oval and the circle in line with each other. I have gone back and I always count out. I think there's 10 between each one of these, and taken a marker and put them on so I can see them better when I'm down. This was just a circle. I copied it here. Then I took and I kept the center, because that's the center. It says it right there. And I lined it up with these two red marks, which I know are the quarter for a circle. It's I actually did eyeball it. However, you can also do this and just put hash marks where you have to put them. You know, it tells you where you can put things on this. So I eyeballed it, did these 4 around first, and then from there I found the center of these arcs and started putting an arc attaching those centers. And I always try to make sure that I use it from the center point, just because that's my math brain. I am not one that likes things perfect. However, if I'm doing something mathematically like this, I may eyeball things and it's okay, but sometimes I actually am pretty stringent on where, like, keeping the center mark at the center. It's just,
So if you feel like you can't draw a straight line, and you can't draw and you can't do all these things, you're thinking, I probably can't doodle because I'm not an artist. I can't draw, a sketch
can do this with a plate.
Yeah, just stop with the negativity.
Exactly. But you don't need to be able to do any of those things to do this.
No.
Somebody gave me all of these, and I don't do
scrapbooking
pages. Yeah, scrapbooking. And I think these are what those are for, but they have great things to start a Zentangle with. All you would have to do with this one is go around it and extend the lines, and then drop a big circle on top of it, and you have a large area to doodle in. I mean, it's giving you all of these places. You could put this one down and then just flip it, and then you have 6 spots. This one has, the oval in it, but they also have these here, which are edges, which you could do as like a straight line. You could do the edge instead of a straight line. This one, I guess it's supposed to be a star, but it has this great big shape, a pentagon in the middle. This, I think, is supposed to be a soccer ball. Another great shape, because all you'd have to do is use that, and you can already see they started the ones around it, and you just have to add one here. You know, lift it up, move it over. A heart, a star. I have a whole container of, some of them are drafting tools. This right here does all kinds of circles. On here, if you look.
And these are basic stencils that a lot of you from scrapbooking have.
Right. It tells you where the lines are. So you just keep lining up the lines, throw them on in pencil, and then you can erase them, and you could have a perfect descending or ascending circle. But even to just do something as basic as this, a plate. And that's how I actually started doing these kind of things, is with when I was a kid.
Plate, what she just drew there, you could take one plate, any size, and make that on a piece of paper. Now you can just doodle within the sections.
Yep.
So Dawn-Marie is not a scrapbooker, and so she likes creating a mandala or doing it on her journal page. Sylvia, I know, is a scrapbooker. Sylvia, tell us how you would doodle when you're scrapbooking or doing a layout.
So when you're scrapbooking, you know, it's about the story that you're trying to tell with your photos. So to enhance your photo, you can always doodle around the edge of the photo. You can draw little lines or your favorite shape, which is a line and a heart or a line and stars or circles. It's amazing what you can do with circles. I took a bag while we were live the other night. It was a gift bag that I wasn't going to reuse, but I saw the circles. I punched them out and I put them in this just to put them somewhere. But later on a scrapbook page, I can cut these out and make them a border, or put a photo right in the middle, and then this is on a border, and it's on a book page. You can barely see the lettering in the back. Good but there's all kinds of ways that you can doodle on your scrapbook page. You can also, instead of using a 3D cluster in the corner of a scrapbook page, you can doodle or put a cluster raised, and then on the top of it, doodle a shape, your heart or your cloud or whatever it is that's it's your favorite shape that you're comfortable with, and doodle around that. You can also doodle the letters, the names. You write the name out in stencil and doodle inside the letters. So on a scrapbook page, you can do a 2-page layout, and you can have the letter B and the letter U, just BU. So, and in those letters, you can doodle inside of them, and it's a 2-page layout, and you're telling the story of how this child is so unique, or this person is so unique because they're just being themselves. So scrapbooking, it's an amazing way to add difference to your pages, to make them different. Because sometimes scrapbooking, you have, where do you put the photo? In line, 2 here, 3 here, 4 square, you know, triangle, you know, there's not much you can do. But if you want to accent, you can also connect photos, like from one here to there, and then just draw a line and doodle in between, just shapes, lines, and dots, like Dawn-Marie was saying. So the possibilities are yours to think of.
That's a fantastic idea.
And she said about the letters, I have done for my nephew, I can't remember if I did it for my niece or not. I don't think she was thought of yet, but I took his name, which is Eric, and did an E, an R, an I, and a K, doodled within them in black, and they were big doodles, doodles.
So and like a giant letter, and then
like a giant letter, and then did a scene behind it, which was from a child's book, but then doodled things onto that. So you can, there's a lot more to doodle, actually.
That would make a really cool gift piece of art with big block letters that you could use a ruler for to make them perfect if you want.
Okay, guys,
and then doodle within the letters of somebody's name.
Let me see if I can get this one down. I forgot I had this up there. I just looked for it. This I did a very long time ago because my last name is Ennis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very large, huge spaces of
Look at that.
lines and dots.
Okay, so let me make you full screen here. Okay, so there's an E with the doodling within the E.
Mm-hmm.
So you take a stencil or even just use a ruler and block out somebody's name or their initials and then stencil within it. You can color it or leave it black and white, or you could doodle in with a colored marker or a colored pen. And that would be a really cool gift for somebody. You could even frame it to give it to them if it was just like on the piece of paper, not like this one's big enough you could cut it out. I love that. That's a great idea.
So I have doodled on a lot of things, and maybe I should have gotten these all down before. This is probably about 10 years old. And it's a pumpkin.
Oh, cool.
That I doodled on. And I doodled on every
section or every other section.
And downstairs in my living room, I have one of those lamps that has like 5 or 6 outshoots with the plastic.
Oh, right.
Ones you get at Walmart. Yeah. Before I put it together, I took every one of those lamps and doodled on them.
On the little cover, the shade cover plastic, of the lamp. Yep. The plastic cover.
That would be a little much for me to bring up to show you guys. But yeah. So, I mean, you can really doodle on everything.
Yeah.
These were Christmas presents for relatives 10 years ago.
That's cool.
This is what I did.
You want,
and like I said, some of them are very big.
Artsy. Yeah, a personalized gift. You want an artsy gift, a personalized gift for someone. You can do that. You could doodle a pumpkin, or if you got a Christmas tree that was like that you could write on with a marker or a gel pen, a Sharpie, any of those.
So I see here that she said that I could design quilts. The funny thing is that I don't know if anybody knows this, but every state has a quilt design.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what I did for a while was, if, for instance, my husband is from Virginia, I'm from Massachusetts and Maine, and we now live in North Carolina. So I would take all of those quilt squares and I would take the way they were made and bunch them together and make my own quilt square out of filming, consolidating all of those. So it told a story about where the people were.
Yeah.
And made big, huge barn quilts with those. So it wasn't doodling, but it was still, technically it was, because I was taking, lines and changing them into, in fact, we have a huge one on our front, the front of our house that I made that actually has, where we've lived, and it's a totally new design. But
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so we've talked about drawing your own mandala. All you need is a round plate or a circle or a bowl. Turn a bowl over and use the top of it. Whatever size, that'll fit on your paper. Something that you can turn over. We've talked about doodling on hard things like a pumpkin, anything plastic or, that's not gonna. You could even doodle on a real pumpkin. Just know that it's not going to last. We've talked about doodling in coloring books, on scrapbook pages, on junk mail,
trash.
I
just found this bag a little while ago. It's a black bag. I figured I can doodle in white.
Yeah. I love the black and white contrast of doodling. In fact, let me share with you a couple additional things that I like to do. I think we all do a lot of the same, and we're each just sharing a few of them. Let's see here. I love to doodle white on black, and this is just a traveler's notebook that has black paper in it, and I doodle with a white gel pen. And so this page is one I did take a ruler, and with the ruler, I just drew lines. I went from corner to corner, so it's easy. I didn't have to figure anything out. Corner to corner, spaced it out a little, spaced it out a little, spaced it out a little. Turned it this way, went corner to corner, did the same thing. So there was no measuring. but got me a grid of diamonds there. And now I can doodle inside each of the diamonds. This is one of my favorite things to take with me when I travel. If I'm going to be on the plane, what do you do on the plane when you're sitting there forever? And, you know, movie's great. Maybe there isn't even a movie on the plane, but sometimes we just feel like creating, but there's not a whole lot you can do sitting on the plane. So you can always have a notebook or two and some gel pens or some nice fine tip markers that you can use. White gel pens, black gel pens are, you know, if I had to only have two, I'd have black and white. I'd skip all the colors and I would just have black and white. Pray, yeah, pray while you're on the plane for sure, Margie. But then, you know, just doodle in each of the things. Sometimes you can color things in. Think about coloring negative space, like this one, color in negative space instead of the positive space. Sometimes you color in the positive space. Sometimes you don't color in at all. But all you do is start making lines or circles or you know, dots or whatever it is, and just, you don't have to think of any big fancy design. So I love taking that when I travel, and I'll do, like I said, a black one, and I'll also do one with white pages, not that one. I don't have that one here. A plain one with white pages so that I can doodle with black or with colored pen there. So here's another example of a good coloring book for doodling, like DM's. Hers has great big sections like mandalas and flowers. And this has stained glass type pictures. So all the images in here are to be like stained glass. So when you color them in, that's what they look like. But that means it's going to have very blocked out sections. And so these little blocked out sections of stained glass, they could each be doodled in. So, you know, pretty much any, wow, look at that one. You can doodle in every one of these little tiny ones, or color every other one in, you know, with a solid color. There is no rule to doodling. You can doodle any way, anyhow, you know, any way you want. Another thing that I like to doodle on is gel prints. So sometimes we will do a gel print and we'll pull it and we'll think, okay, that's kind of cool, but it's not done. It needs something else. And so sometimes we'll put it into a journal and then we'll doodle on it. Sometimes I just doodle on it for fun. I know both DM and Sylvia do this as well. One of the things I have started doing recently is taking my gel prints and making these mini art journals. And these are gel prints that all still need something, and purposefully so that I can doodle on them. Even the one that I chose as the front cover had this little black strip, which was the border of the gel plate around it. So I could doodle a nice little border here because it had that little black strip because it was done on black paper. So I've been making these little art journals out of my gel prints so that I can doodle on these pages, which is really awesome. Love doing that. You can doodle in color, in black and white, you know, depending on what it is. And it all started out with this little teeny tiny one here that was the first mini art journal that I made. And these were scraps of some gel prints that I made. And I just really love the colors of these gel prints. And I didn't want to throw away these scraps. This is all that was left, literally. And I didn't want to throw it away because I loved the colors. They were so cool. So I had this little kid's board book. And so I decided to cover it and make a mini art journal with that. And so that could be doodled on and added to. And this is what we're going to give away today, is the mini art journal. I know, I love the tinies. We're going to give away this mini art journal today to anybody who contributes on the super chat or super sticker, 99 cents or more. You don't have to do a lot. Every 99 cents counts. And if you're interested, in a future date, we can show you how to make these mini art journals with your gel prints or other paper that you make. But these are fun to sit down and doodle on. So I might decide to use a black marker and then I might use a white gel pen on black. Depending. Oh, here's one I already did. So this one I used my round gel plate. You can see the red is the paint where the gel plate was. All of this around here is white paper. There was nothing there. And so I started doodling. I just chose the colors that were in the paint. So little yellow squares with blue dots in the center. Did just some stripes, some plaid there. Some little hearts up on the top, thinking of Sylvia. Over here with circles with dots, where here we had squares with dots. Circles with dots, just super simple. You don't have to have anything complicated. Hi, Sarah. And up here, I don't even know what they're called, but some shapes, some loop-de shapes, and then circles inside of them because they were pretty big. And this is one where I colored the negative space in there. So I didn't even have to touch the gel print itself because I like the modeled colors on that, but I was able to doodle around it and really add to that page. Now this one really needs something. So I can doodle on top of this and really do something with that page. So I started this one, not liking where it is, so I'm just going to change directions, and it's not done till you say it's done. And if you want to put some paint over it, you can do that. So before I move away from the black, there's something else that I want to show you with the black. One of my favorite reasons for always having a black book on hand is to use metallics. And that either metallic markers or metallic colored pencils. It doesn't matter. They all work. But metallic colored pencils on black or metallic markers or pens on black are awesome. Here's a blue. It's kind of a purpley blue. Probably not the best choice of color there because it's a dark color and the page is dark. So I'm just going to draw as if I was doing a neurographic art, but basically just filling in the space. Okay, here's how you can start a doodle page for yourself. You just you don't have to do straight lines because that's sometimes harder, especially if you don't have a ruler on hand. So I took a metallic pencil. You can see how it shows up. And when you get things done in metallic, it really shines. It looks very cool. But you then can take this and you've got all the little sections here. And so I can take a different color metallic pencil, and in each section, I can do something super simple. We'll just do this and you can see, just do a different doodle in each one, but see how the metallic just shows up on the black so nicely. And those are just colored pencils, metallic pencils. And so you can imagine the markers. They're just as good, maybe even better. Let's talk about what other things you guys like to use for doodling. I like metallics on black, all markers. Usually I like a fine point marker, and my favorites probably my white gel pen and black gel pen and Posca paint pens, because they have a nice fine point as well. And there's a lot of colors. I use the white and the black more often than any, but I do have other colors if I'm working on white paper. So Sylvia, what do you like to use? What are the tools you prefer to doodle with?
When I doodle in my journals, I limit myself to a pen, and I usually use the Pilot G pens with the thicker, like this. You think it's a marker, but it's actually a pen.
Okay.
When I'm doodling for fun, I bust out all my markers, the glittery ones, the paint ones, the not so paint ones. I have invested in markers in my years of journaling, and I've got 2 more bags over there, and then not counting the distress crayons. Ladies,
Sure.
you don't have to get this crazy. I've been scrapbooking since 1988, so I have an addiction. So, I'm not enabling you guys, but I
Right.
buy pins so that I can try them. I have my fall colored pins. I have pins that make designs. Um, so to help with my doodling, because as I get older, my arthritis and my wrist kicks up sometimes. These
Mhm.
pins make an outline of hearts. These pins are Martha's glitter markers, Martha Stewart's.
Oh.
These are the Sarasas. So when I don't have a plan, when I'm not working on a project, I
Mhm.
play. I play daily. It's
So it's not just that you don't have a plan, it's that you're not in the middle of a project or you don't feel like starting a project, but you
right.
feel like being creative in some way.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is the perfect thing to sit down and do because you are being creative. You're creating something that is even usable if you want to use it,
Yes.
but
And
it's
thank
not
you for correcting me because you're right. It's not that I don't have a plan because obviously I plan to sit down and be creative.
exactly.
It's just
Yeah,
like when I do get tired of scrapbooking. I do get tired of making stuff ephemera for my journals because I'm
sure,
more of a writer. So,
sure.
and when I write, sometimes my letters, my script becomes my doodle. Sometimes I get a little, scrolly and
Mhm.
depends. But the thing is, I use my stuff.
Right.
And if I like this, when I doodle on a bag, I just found the bag and I pulled it out because it was going to get thrown away.
Mhm.
This doesn't make sense right now. This flower may not work, but I can go back and cut these things out and I'll put them in my fodder. And then, and I have my fodder mixed.
Individually,
I have them by words, I have them by animals, I have them by shapes, I have them by, alphabets,
whatever
anything
category
that falls
makes sense to
in a
you.
category. Because when I do sit down to do a project,
Uh-huh.
then I know what I can pull from. I know what I've got on hand already made that I can just reuse or use.
Right.
Or I cut all of it. This isn't going to hurt me. Yeah, we don't come across black bags that often, but got a
Yeah.
little
Well,
dirty, got sprinkled by coffee. Yeah,
you're gonna stick in your closet because
I
it's
was gonna, I was gonna trash it.
and so see, this is making good use of it. Yeah.
Yes,
And I didn't mean to correct you. I wanted to define for you because I felt like I knew
yeah.
what you meant.
I apologize for not using the right words, but it just
Oh.
dawned on me that's right. Especially we ladies that work
Mhm.
and have children and husbands to attend to. We're pulled in so many different directions. When do you have time? You got to make time in order to sit down and please yourself and take self-care yourself. So
Right.
those are precious moments. And if you want to start by relaxing your brain just a little bit by just coloring a space, color a square, make some marks, put out a pretty marker and start with circles, start with the squares, whatever it is your favorite shape is, and
Some I
relax
don't
your mind.
with to think about a project, whether it's to start one or to keep working on one. I just can't do it. My brain just can't, I can't do it. But I
Right.
still want to be creative. I want to do something. My hands want to get busy and do something that I love. So what Sylvia's saying is give yourself permission to sit down with a pen and or markers or gel pen, pencil, whatever it is, and I like to say doodle and not draw because when I say draw, my brain kind of freezes up because it says, well, you're not a sketch artist, you can't draw. But I can doodle because there are no rules to doodle. Doodle is just putting some kind of mark, as Sylvia just said, putting some kind of mark on the paper. That's doodling.
Exactly.
So everybody,
Exactly.
yeah. So that's awesome.
And if you're not comfortable, use your stencils. My goodness, how many of us are invested in stencils? I have the cheap ones. I have expensive ones. Do I
Yep.
use them? I want to use them more often than not. Some have letters. Write them out. Put them on a surface. Maybe you don't doodle that day, but you've got them so you can call on them later. There's, please
Stencils.
yourself. Have fun with your creative side. Just enjoy your time.
whether it's an outline, whether it's an individual shape, whether it's a whole row of shapes, you know, a repetitive pattern. But stencils are wonderful to do
Or
that.
pretty trash.
Yeah, that is really pretty trash, actually. Dawn-Marie, what are your favorite tools to doodle with?
I have a whole bag of things like this to start my doodles with. My favorite white pens and gel pens are Jelly Rolls. I love all the colors in Jelly Rolls. So they have them in, you know, metallic and all of that. This right here is my doodle bucket. It does have, you know, it's got things stopped. You can twirl it around. But these are, now I might use them on another project, but this is what I doodle with. These are all mostly gel pens. I have my tri-blenders here from Spectrum Noir. So I have 3 colors in one of these markers. And I pretty much, actually I have double of everything almost. I see I have 2 oranges here. But so I have enough here, colors just in this little space to pretty much color anything. It's a nice small amount. It's not the big, huge, giant thing of
It's
markers
something that you could take with you and go sit on the couch to watch a movie.
Exactly.
With your hubby and still be doodling because you feel like being creative and he wants to watch a movie.
Yeah, this is he wants to watch a movie, but then falls asleep. So I have to watch it and keep myself awake and doodle.
Yeah.
So I do keep some regular markers. Like I said, my white marker is great. I love it. I am a pen hoarder.
Aficionado.
Yes.
Pen
if I
free.
see a new pen has come out,
I
must have it.
I hate that. Me too.
To test it.
I just want to write with it. I want it in my hand.
Yep. Now, so if anybody wants to know anything about any new markers or pens, I probably can tell you.
Probably tried them, so ask her.
Yeah. The new Sharpie ones. Now, the only thing I don't like about these is the only way you can tell what color it is that bar. So in my little thing here, I can't tell what color it is. They're all the same until I pick it up and look at that little bar. Not a good design. And I probably will tell Sharpie. And I do this because I know they like feedback, especially with pens. If there's something I don't like about their pen, I will contact them and tell them. And right now, Sharpie's going to get they write wonderfully. They're everything. But I need to be able to tell what color it is from looking down.
Pulling it out. Yep. Totally agree.
And so, yeah, these right here are amazing. These are from, these right here are amazing. And these are from Papermate. They have a white also, and they're called Brights. And they go on black paper like you wouldn't believe. And I honestly can tell you right now, this has got a very small, it's a 0.7. This white is very close to the
gel pen or
to the the Jelly Roll.
Interesting.
This one comes out
like
sometimes
neon, like metallic.
They're not. They're more like chalk paint.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's almost that flat chalk.
Okay.
Some white markers you can or pens. You could probably do a whole day on white pens. Sometimes
I have a love-hate relationship with white markers.
Right.
I have found that there are some white pens that you will draw the line and you can barely see it. You walk away, you come back, and bang, it's white. I don't like that.
I don't like them either.
I need to see it as I do it.
I see it.
I want serenity now.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I always test with white is if I can't see it, the color it's going to be as soon as it hits the paper, then you're going to get a thumbs down from me on those markers. So the other marker that's new, that I don't know if anybody's seen, and their white marker, it's very, very, very close to the paint markers that Marianne mentioned, is the new Sharpie Creative markers. They have multiple points. They have a brush and a bullet. And this white does a little bit of that brightening as you go, but not as bad as not as bad as this one. This white one right here stinks. You put it on, it makes the paper look gray, like if you were doing it on black, and then all of a sudden, like 15 minutes later, it's white. But I still keep it there,
Sure.
because I don't want to throw it out. But I'll tell you what, these Sharpies, and they're a good price. You can buy just the black and white Sharpies in both the bullet point and the brush point. And this is a really good marker if you don't have the money for Poscas, because these are just as good as Poscas.
Very cool.
In fact, I like these because you don't have to press down to get the fluid to come to you like you do with Poscas. There, it's already there.
Very cool.
I have a wide variety, as you can see, of colors.
That's awesome.
So these are my newest pens.
So let's see. Sarah's still not seeing the join button. Margie said you either. Okay, I'll go back in and maybe send YouTube a message to see what the holdup is on that, or if it's supposed to take a week.
And Marianne, I can say one more thing. Ladies, if you don't want to invest in markers, let's say you just don't doodle, you haven't doodled, but you would like to try. There's nothing wrong with crayons.
Yes.
I just found this year glitter crayons, and the child wouldn't share her glitter crayons with me. I had to go out and buy my own. So leave your mind open to your possibilities. I love these glitter crayons. They're so much fun. Yes, they don't leave a lot of glitter, but you don't have to. It's just enough to make it shine. And I'm an old lady, so I'm attracted to glitter and purple socks. So just keep that in mind. Use your crayons. Use your pencils, your colored pencils
that you write
with. That you're comfortable with.
Any
Any
marker.
Yep. And even if you go to the Dollar Tree, I will tell you that I actually buy markers and pens at the Dollar Tree. They have some name brands there. And sometimes those are better than the ones that are expensive.
Yeah. Depends on the different brand. Yeah, for sure.
Depends on the brand. I mean, and also sometimes they might be a little dried out because they're old, but you just have to.
Quit talking about me like that, Dawn-Marie.
I know, but sorry.
I love you.
I love you too. But so I mean, you just pick up something that draws. I have been with children when I was babysitting, and we were doing stuff on the sidewalk with sidewalk chalk.
Yes.
And I made huge mandala, and then I put it in like white chalk, and they went back and colored it in. And it was probably one of the prettiest things I've ever seen, because the older one did more doodle and drawing, like she did circles, and I was teaching her how to do marks, quote unquote, mark making. And her little brother was coloring them in. And like she was even going back and wetting her finger, and putting a dot in the chalk so it looked dotted when he's colored it in. So, I mean, you can doodle everything. Yeah,
that's very cool.
And that's so good to be like a child. Be open, be curious, be willing to entertain yourself and feel good about yourself. Yes.
Maybe you don't do gel printing. And so how are you going to doodle on pages like that? Another way you can make your own paper is just to take copy paper and set it in a box and just spray it. Spritz it with any kind of spray that you have. It makes very pretty paper that you can doodle on. But something that you can do when you're spraying your own paper to give you some form to doodle in is set down a mask or two. You can set a stencil down, and then you have the spaces to doodle in that you get there, or a mask. A mask is the opposite of a stencil. A stencil has cut out and you put it down, and it's going to fill in everywhere where it's cut out. A mask would be, instead of a stencil of a lady, it would be the actual body of the lady. And when you set the body down and you spray the paper around it, you're going to get everything else sprayed except where you put the mask. So when you pick it up, that part's still white. So where you set the mask, now you could doodle in those spaces. So stencils or masks with just
and
some.
ladies, if I could add one more thing for the scrapbookers and the card makers.
Yes.
All of those papers that you have, 12 by 12, 8 by 8, 6 by 6, that you didn't use because they didn't work with your project, alter those.
Yes.
Follow the designs. Make a design over the design with a doodle, or do a Zentangle, or do a dangle. Use the back side of the paper. It's white.
Yep.
You can use the pattern side of the paper with gesso. Put a layer of gesso over it, and then doodle on that.
So if the front side is light enough, you can doodle right on it and totally alter that paper. If it's not, the back is white, go ahead and doodle on the back or Zentangle on the back, because when I show you how to make these books, the one side does not show, and that can be, instead of the back side, that could be the front side. So the white side that you use could then be the part that shows.
Exactly. We paid so much money for the paper. Right. We need to use it.
This is a great example.
Right on.
You could just color in every other block on this with white, and it would totally change it and make it far more lacy.
Yes.
And that's just taking your white pen and coloring in every other block, which we've all done to make checkerboard, or some people call it a chessboard, or whatever you want to do. But every other one on this paper, which is.
But look at your scrapbook paper differently now to say, is this something that I can doodle on to personalize it? Oh, perfect. Anything that has or shapes on it is going to be perfect to doodle in. And you don't have to doodle the whole thing. Like that one she just showed, you could just doodle in those oval shapes.
Right. Even just put a line in each one makes it look like a leaf.
Got art journals and coloring books and mandalas, scrapbook pages, junk mail, and bags, plain bags. Sometimes it's cheaper to buy a pack of plain brown paper bags or white paper bags or black paper bags, and then you can doodle on them to make your own designs to use them as gift bags instead of buying the more expensive gift bags. There you go. There's a way you could doodle that page and change the entire look, and all it is a line in each one and 2 circles in the opposite one. That works.
This is another one that actually I've seen a lot of people do, is you take your own hand, you break it up into one doodle in each finger, do one sort of circular doodle in the palm, and
that's a great idea.
Then
so if you don't know what to doodle, trace your hand like you're making a turkey. Trace your hand, or write the first letter of your name, big block letter, and doodle in that. Or just make some squiggles on your page and then look at each shape and doodle within each shape. You don't have to have any big plan when you're going to doodle. You just grab something to write with, something to write on.
Free your mind.
And the rest will follow.
And the rest will follow.
You can't be colorblind.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing black and white, then you're just fine.
Right. True.
So we are going to, we haven't announced this. We'll go ahead and announce it now. Admin knows we are going to change most of our tutorial type lives to 1 hour, from 2 hours to 1 hour, and try to get in more than one per week. That way we can get together more frequently and have just
no
enough
pressure.
no pressure, but we love to have you here. enough time to get some information out, to get some new ideas. So now you can go play with them, and we'll sign off at 1 hour, and then we can get together again later. But before we sign off, we've got to give away the mini journal book. And the only donation I saw come through today was Margie. Did I miss any? Did I miss one? I saw Margie's. I think it was the only one. We're a little short on attendance today, but that's okay. People will watch it on the replay. So, yeah, replay. Margie, I'm going to send you the mini art journal with some of my favorite pages. These are
wow.
And Margie loves mini.
She does. Yes, so this is perfect for her. Perfect for her. I'm going to leave it so you can doodle in it, Margie. I print page, and you can doodle on it, and so it can be a collaboration. Okay, you win because you contributed, and thank you so much for your support.
Winner, chicken dinner.
That's right, or rib dinner from Chili's, or whatever.
Oh, there you go. Excuse me, pardon me.
I know. Chili's ribs, one of her favorite dinners. Oh, Sarah's in with $1.99. I guess we have to have a drawing, Margie. I'm so sorry. After I said that, now Sarah's in there. So we got to have a drawing. Thank you, Sarah.
Margie, you're not going to get
it. She's not going to let you. Okay, I'm pulling up the wheel.
So easily.
I'm pulling up the wheel, and we're going to do Sarah and Margie. Does anybody else want to get into that drawing before we do it? While I'm typing in names, you still have time. We've got Margie and Sarah, and let's put them each in there a whole bunch of times. And here we go. Oh. And yeah, I'm anxious for that join button so we can do private Laugh and Craft and private clearance sale. Been gathering things together for that.
Open.
For the join group. Okay, let's see. For our membership group on YouTube. So
yes, I'm anxious for that.
Look at that, Sarah. No. Sarah, you're funny. You are funny. She's like, take my name off. I'm going to do the drawing anyway. And then if you want to give it to Margie, if you win, you can. Because I have to do it fair, right? Just like Casey won Saturday. Casey won Saturday, and he knew it was something that he wasn't going to use. So there it is. So he passed it to Sarah because he knew she would use it. So let's add this. There we go. And let's go ahead and draw. And if Margie wins anyway, then you don't have to worry about it, Sarah. I'm waiting for YouTube to catch up. Sarah! It says Sarah won.
Wow.
Yeah.
I should go down there and buy a lotto ticket with Sarah.
Right? That's funny. I pass it to Margie, please. I will pass it to Margie for you, Sarah. And Sarah, I put yours in an envelope today with your Barely Art glue and your pins. And that will go out. That'll go out to you right away. So, look at that. Jen came in. Oh, Jen, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to have to draw and give away something else. You know what? We need to do all donations by a certain time to get in the drawing, because I don't want to feel bad for leaving people out of the drawing.
Right.
You know.
And did you find out if you can do one after the fact? If anybody if anybody donates in the chat after we close?
I didn't.
That was one of the questions we had.
And I can't, when I look at it, because I'm the creator of it, I don't see the same thing that somebody else sees. So if you guys would check after we go out, go look at Saturdays, because sometimes it takes a while for it to populate, to bring chat up. But I know the chat from Saturday is up because I saw that. I saw the donations then, and see if the button is there, if you can actually donate after the fact. And yeah, let me know. That would be really awesome to know. I hate that I can't, even if I log out and I go in on my computer, it knows me, and so it logs me back in automatically. So love you too, Jen. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. And thanks
I love you more, Jen.
even though you're working. Glad you got to stick your head in a little bit and tell your mom the pictures are beautiful that she did.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes, they were.
Love those.
Love
Okay,
the chicken.
so we're going to end it here, but you guys be on the lookout for other lives, because we're going to try to get more lives in during the week by cutting them back to 1 hour a piece. And we're also hoping that that'll make it easier for people to watch on a replay if they're just 1 hour, and they can speed it up double time, because I don't talk fast enough anyway. They can make it double time and get through it.
And also maybe it might be after, when you get back home from work, or you've dropped the kids off at school and you have an hour here or there. Let us know if you have an hour that you actually could spend with us. Maybe we'll be try to help, try to get into that same time.
Go at particular times. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that would be great. We would like, if we do a second one, we'd like that one to be at least evening. So we have one daytime, one evening. But we would like to try to hit
here for you
when everybody can, join at some point and participate, because we know it's hard for our working people to come in during the day. So, all right, bye everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Go doodle, and please put pictures of your doodles in the group. We love to see them. They're inspiring, they're motivating. We like to see everything you create, anything. It doesn't matter what the genre of art or craft is. We love the photos because they inspire everybody to get creative. Or
even if it's trash.
All the time, right, Marty? Sounds good. You guys have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.